I answered my phone to find her name flashing across the screen, and I froze. It had been months since I'd heard from her, months since I'd walked away because I couldn't watch my own heart fracture every time she pushed me away. Yet here she was, her number blinking insistently like a warning I didn't want to read. "Please," she said the second I answered. Her voice wasn't desperate. It was smooth, almost rehearsed. "I need your help." I let the silence stretch between us. Years of rejection, nights of emptiness, mornings spent alone while she slept. I remembered the nights I lay awake begging for intimacy, any kind of connection, and she'd tell me she was tired, that she couldn't. And every later had been a lie. I had counted the days, each one heavier than the last, until the ache of wanting her became unbearable. I walked away, but now she needed cash. I didn't respond right away. My thumb hovered over the screen. I could hear the faint rustle of movement, maybe her packing, maybe scheming. I didn't know. Part of me wanted to hang up immediately, to shut the door on the years of neglect and deception. Another part knew she had always had a way of finding me when it suited her, of making me feel like I was the only person who could fix her problems. "How much?" I asked finally, my voice lower than I expected. "Enough," she said, almost coyly. "You know, to get me out of this mess." The word should have made my blood boil, but I felt only a dull, aching familiarity. This was her method. Create chaos, then hand it to me like I was the one responsible for cleaning it up. I thought of the nights I begged for a single glance of affection, the empty kitchen at 2 a.m., the bed that had once been ours now a grave of unspoken words. I remember the time I found receipts hidden in the back of her closet, dinners for two, tickets for weekends she claimed were for work, gifts with names I didn't recognize. My stomach had churned as the pieces fell together, each one a nail in the coffin of trust one had naively carried for her. "You walked away," she said quietly now, almost tenderly, as if reminding me of the truth I already carried like a scar. "Yes," I said. The single word felt like a liberation, a verdict. And yet, hearing her voice again, I realized that liberation had a cost. It had cost me years of hope, years of believing in a love that was never meant to be mine. She launched into a story about bills, threats, a sudden collapse of everything she had worked for. I listened, but only half. My mind wandered through memories like shattered glass. I saw her lying beside me, pretending to sleep while my hand hovered over haze, longing for touch. I saw her texting under the table, whispering into her phone with a smile I never got to see. Finally, I interrupted. "Do you know why I left?" My voice was steadier than I expected. "It wasn't because I stopped loving you. It was because I realized I couldn't love someone who didn't see me, who didn't even want to." I could hear her intake of breath, sharp and quick, like a blade through memory. I didn't know." "You didn't know," I echoed, almost bitterly. "And maybe that's your tragedy. But I did. I saw everything. I felt everything. And I walked away because I valued myself enough to stop bleeding in silence for someone who would never care." The phone went quiet. I could imagine her searching for the right words, realizing too late that the person she had leaned on for her schemes was no longer there to catch her. I pictured her face, the flicker of panic, the sting of a truth she had ignored for years. I can pay you back," she finally said, voice trembling. "You don't need to pay me back," I said softly, but there was a weight in the words. "I don't want your money. I want the part of me that I lost waiting for someone who would never show up. That's not something you can ever give me." There was silence again, and in that silence, I felt an unfamiliar calm. For years, I had carried her absence as a wound. Now it felt like closure. I realized revenge wasn't money, or humiliation, or schemes. Revenge was living fully and fiercely, without her, and I was finally there. She started talking again, probably pleading, but I muted the phone. The glow of the screen reminded me of the nights I spent staring at it, waiting for a message that never came. I placed the phone on the counter, then walked to the window. Outside, the world didn't care about her problems, or my heartbreak. It simply went on, indifferent, alive. And in that indifference, I found my freedom. I didn't call her back. I didn't send her money. I didn't forgive her, but I didn't curse her either. I just stepped away, and for the first time in years, I felt the emptiness filled with something else, possibility, clarity, peace. I could live without the ache, without the betrayal, without the constant pull of someone who had never truly wanted me. Weeks later, I learned she had found other ways: friends, loans, desperation. But it didn't touch me. Her chaos was no longer mine. And when I saw her name flash on my phone again, I didn't hesitate. I let it ring. Some doors, once closed, are never meant to be reopened. And some hearts, once broken, are meant to heal without apology or return. I didn't answer. I never will.